is my sister. I have never posted on Reddit before, but it's 3 a.m. and I can't sleep. I just want to share this to hopefully inspire someone. I don't have many friends, so I came here. After 9 years, I graduated high school and started working on my degree, but I wasn't 100% sure what I wanted to go for. I later decided to drop out due to several issues, personal, financial, etc. In fall of 2020, I decided to apply to a college in the new state I moved to, and I was accepted. I decided the first class I wanted to take would be the one I found hardest in high school and the one that scared me away from my initial degree plan. I took the class and passed with an A. I then worked diligently while working full-time to finish my AA degree. Tomorrow I walk across the stage after 9 years. The thing that makes it super wholesome for me, though, is that in just a couple weeks I will be driving 8 hours back to my hometown to surprise my little sister, who is graduating from high school. She can't come to my graduation because of finals, but I plan to bring my cap and gown so we can take pictures together after her ceremony. It's so special to me that we get to have this together. I love her tremendously, and I am super proud of her. P.S. I am already accepted into the biomed program, and when my sister goes to college in the fall, she will also be going for biomed. It could be so awesome for us to graduate with our biomed degrees together. Oh, I love that. Okay, next story is a very short one. It says, I got a cat yesterday and showed my 2-year and 5-month-old niece a picture of the cat. It said, so after a while of going through a rough patch in my life, my parents, who are definitely not cat people, let me get a cat after wanting one my whole life. I'm 21 for context, and my cat is super adorable, and I showed my 2-year-old niece a picture of him, and she said cat, and started saying "aww" while tilting her head and smiling, and I almost cried from happiness. Oh, that's so cute. I love cats. Okay. Next one. It says, concert made my husband very happy. It says, so a little bit of a backstory. My husband is a heavy metal fan, and Sabaton is his favorite band. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. He was at one of their concerts a few years back and really liked it. On with the story. So Sabaton had a concert this Sunday, and my husband really wanted to go, but I didn't have the money. We keep our finances separate. He pays the fixed costs, and I pay for groceries and other daily needs. So I decided to pay for it and make an early Christmas gift, and he really appreciated it. So on Sunday, we first had a beautiful day with our kids at Schönbrunn, a zoo in Vienna, and then we went to the concert. I don't like metal that much, and it would have been too loud for me anyway. I said he should text me when he is home safe. I drove to my parents, who live closer to Vienna, so I didn't have to drive 2.5 hours home. He did, and almost wrote the concert was mega and thanked me again, so I know the decision was right, and on top, I don't have to think about a Christmas present for him anymore. Oh, that's awesome. Next one is, my teacher is so kind. This one is also a short one. It says, so this is kind of a short story, but anyway, a few years ago, before I went to school, my teacher's class went on a school trip, and only one of her students couldn't afford the trip. His family wasn't doing too good on money, so she snuck him on the bus and paid for him. She was in quite big trouble, but she explained it to the principal and got off the hook. The next story is called Early Memories. One of the first memories is of me sleeping on my mom's stomach while she was pregnant with my brother. I must have been 3, almost 4 at the time. I remember listening to my mom's singing voice in my dream and feeling her play with my hair. I only know I was asleep because my brother kicked me in the face and woke me up, LOL. Another early memory of mine is around the same time where my stepdad sat me down and tried to explain how to say my brother's name since I had trouble finding the different pronouncing TH and F like things and 4. I remember laughing so hard and trying so hard because I couldn't hear the difference, and my stepdad was laughing with me because laughs are contagious, I'm guessing. I eventually got it before my brother was born, though. Oh, that's so sweet. This next one is called A Man Who Was in His 60s Pays for over $450 for groceries that weren't his. days, a mother about her 40 or 50s and her daughter in her late 20s came in my line with a giant card or two and explained that they got a new insurance card that was loaded with money, about $150 on each card, and they would try to buy as much as they needed and put back what they couldn't. I had a nice simple talk with them about the day, and as soon as we tried ringing their card, nothing. We tried every way we could to scan their cards. I even called people from the customer service and they couldn't figure it out either. Both ladies looked like they were ready to cry, and they only had $60 in cash, and it was over $450 in total. Right as I was about to clear the transaction, all of us defeated. An elderly gentleman who was in the next line over, leaving, saw the ladies and offered to pay. At first they didn't accept, but they gave in after he said it was fine, and he paid in full for their groceries and refused the money they offered for a thank you, and he left. Later I found out from my coworker who had checked out with him also paid for someone else's groceries. That was $30 or so. That night I felt grateful for my community and how the people stick out for others even if they don't know one another. That is very wholesome. This says, a kid tells me he loves me on a difficult day. I had had a crappy day a few weeks ago, and as I walked out of school, I'm a teacher, one of the kids from the nursery walked up to me, gave me a hug, and told me he loved me. The kid was maybe 4 years old. It was the cutest thing. Bawled on my way to the bus stop. Okay, this one is called Easter Egg Hunt for my parents. Today was Easter, and I, female 23, decided to make an Easter egg hunt for my parents, female 50 and male 54, and this was the best decision I've ever made. My parents are going through a tough time at work and are constantly tired and stressed. Still to this day, they always have to work on Easter Sunday. Even though they had to work, they always made sure to give me an Easter egg hunt. This resulted in some hilarious photos of little me, extremely exhausted, searching for eggs at 6 in the morning. Today, I decided to give them the same joy they always gave me, and I did everything they did, but with some added fun. I hid the chocolate eggs and some milkshakes and beer around the house with clues to find the next spot. I covered the couches in bunny footprints using baby powder, and left a note the Easter Bunny wrote to them. Once everything was set up, I ran to the kitchen where they were making food and made a massive scene, just like they did with me when I was a child, and screamed at them to come look before it's too late. Shocked, they asked what was going on. Their faces were so sweet when I mentioned they were going to miss the Easter Bunny, as I just saw him jump out of our house. They found the notes, and when they realized it was a competition, their inner child came out. My parents pushed each other out of the way and charged each other when one would find a clue. I haven't seen my parents this happy in a while, and my heart was so happy. I encourage everyone to try to do this for their parents or older family members. They always made sure we had a magical Easter. Why not remind them what it's like to be a child again? Oh, that is actually a really good idea. This one is called After 12 Years. My dad said something that made me cry happy tears. I don't have that many friends, so when I have news about my life, good or bad, I usually just ruminate on my own. But this was a wholesome thing my dad said after his awakening, and thought I'd share it with you all. On early February 2023, I, 22 female, ran into some problems with my school administration that would possibly hinder me from graduating next year. Because of that, I got so frustrated, and for once called my dad to tell him the news and to apologize for not being attentive enough to keeping up with my school schedules and all that. After an hour of him listening to me explain and cry and apologize, I asked him if worse comes to worse, what if I do have to extend? That means it'll take longer for me to graduate. He said, it's okay, whatever happens, I will support you. I will be here. You're not alone, but you have to try as hard as you can to fight for this. Because he was being so nice, I expected him to take away my things or something, because that's what he used to do. I asked him, why are you being so nice? I failed to keep up with the most basic thing. Why are you not angry? His tone was not in any way upset. He was calm, collected. His response was, because I don't want to lose you again. You are my daughter. It's my responsibility as a parent to support you until you can support yourself. Want to know my response to that? I cried even harder, because that was the single most meaningful thing anyone has ever said to me, and this came from my dad, who when I was 14 on Christmas said, I don't need you, I have your little sister, I don't care what happens to you, with the most heartless tone I can imagine to be used to a 14-year-old. So the complete 180 from back then really sucker punched my soul. So that's it. Just wanted to put it out there that some parents do try to change their behavior. Well, after I for 6 months to build a life for my own, so don't give up. Sometimes they need some shock therapy, but after that, if they're showing efforts to repair their relationship with you, if it's not too damaged and you want to have a relationship with them, try meeting them in the middle. You'll be surprised what waits for you on the other side. Oh, and the thing I was fighting for, though, through some luck or miracle, I handled it with the help of my parents, and I'm back studying law again. Oh, yay. That's awesome. Okay. Let's read one more. This is, I ran into an old friend in work. Note, I'm all for altering names and stories that happen in real life, but this man has saved me on multiple occasions, and I feel he deserves the recognition. My old school counselor, Mr. Breslin, he has helped me through more than anyone I know. The day of my father's funeral, he was working. He left the school, came down to the church, and stood in the courtyard because there was no more room in the building itself. We were rushed for time, so we couldn't really hang back and say hello to everyone. It was a case of carrying the casket into the hearse and heading to the cemetery, but he didn't care. After we loaded up the hearse, I was ushered towards the car, wiping the tears from my face when I felt a hand grip my shoulder. I spun around and met the gaze of this living saint. He was the first person to interact with me after the funeral. He didn't come with the school. He didn't come on behalf of the school. He wasn't there as an ambassador. He was there as a man who wished to show sympathy and care for someone he knew who had lost someone dearly. I still remember seeing the pain in his face as he just whispered, "I'm so sorry," over and over again. We had a strong bond before, but after that day, I will have the utmost respect and appreciation for that man until it's me being carried in a coffin. I hadn't seen him since until today. He was in the queue and he came to my till. Casual small talk ensued. "What are you up to? How you been?" The usual. Given the last couple years, my knee-jerk response to "how are you" is surviving. I said this and he looked at me with a smirk and replied, "Well, there's no better man to do it." There was an unspoken recognition there. We both knew that what each other meant. That hit me hard. That man has seen me through some of my lowest points during my adolescence and has walked me to the other side on more occasions than I can remember. To hear that from him, with the look in his eye and the inflection in his voice, it showed belief, it showed faith, it showed support. Despite the length of time between our last interactions, the man's influence has left an internal impression on me, and I'd like to think maybe I did the same for him. I hope to see you